This link is for 5th grade, going along with the story A Dream Comes True. If you go ahead and make sure your Treasures textbook is open to page 702, 703, you can follow along with me as we read the story. First off, I'd like to go over the vocabulary words that we'll encounter in this unit. Elementary. Elementary means dealing with the beginnings of something. Physical. Physical means relating to the body. Rigid. Rigid means not changing or moving. Interact. Interact means to act together with others. Wheelchair. Wheelchair means a chair on wheels that helps a person who cannot walk to get from one place to another. Humiliation, loss of one's sense of self-respect. And isolation, the state of being completely separated from others. With that being said, let's go ahead and take a peek at this article that we're going to read this week. The genre is a non-fictional article. And a non-fiction article in a newspaper or magazine reports on real people, places, and events. And of course, remember this week our comprehension skill we're focusing on is persuasion. Persuasion is a method of convincing others that they should believe something or feel a certain way about a subject. And with that being said, let's go ahead and begin reading. A dream comes true. Why do all kids need a place to play? Most kids love recess, but for Hannah Kristen, it was her least favorite part of the school day. I never get to do anything except sit there, she recalls. Hannah was born with a disease that kept her bones in her back from forming properly. She uses a wheelchair, and sadly for kids like her, most playground equipment is off limits. In fact, Hannah is one of 5 million kids in the United States who cannot use a traditional playground equipment because of some type of disability. And I'm going to go ahead and stop there because I can tell from the first 2 paragraphs that a problem is presented in the selection. One that the author feels strongly about. I can stop and check that I understand the information in the selection by asking myself questions such as why, what if, and how. I will also want to read this selection carefully before I come to any conclusions about persuasion techniques the author might be using. How do you think the author will try to persuade readers in this selection? How do you think the author is going to try to persuade us as readers in this selection? Well, if you look in the middle of the second paragraph, it says, I see that the author uses sadly. This is a word that has negative connotation, and that it usually signal words that follow is what the author's opinion is. The author thinks it's sad that playgrounds are off limits to children with disabilities. And with this, he or she is probably going to try to persuade us that it needs to be changed. Then Hannah heard about boundless playgrounds, playgrounds without limits for children with disabilities. The wonderful group behind Boundless Playgrounds helped communities create special playgrounds for children of all abilities. There are swings and sandboxes especially designed for kids with physical disabilities. Kids with vision problems can enjoy the movement of swings and also musical activities such as the chime wall. Since her hometown in Connecticut had nothing like it, Hannah helped raise money for this new kind of playground. New experiences. Matt Cadivan designed a swing especially for boundless playgrounds, but his commitment didn't stop there. In a speech he gave in 2004, Matt, then 15 years old, described an experience he had at the grand opening of a boundless playground in Rhode Island. A girl, our age, 15 years old, was swinging, laughing, and crying all at once. Her mom explained that it was the girl's first time on a swing. Is this a small thing? Not for her. Not for her mom. Not for the kids without disabilities who came up to her to say congratulations. I wonder how many of these kids had just talked to a person with disabilities for the first time. And I wonder how many will choose to interact with people who have different abilities because of that experience. I'm going to go stop right there. Now, what are 2 text features of this informational nonfiction? Can you tell about this article? What are 2 text features of informational nonfiction can you find in this article so far? Well, the photos use illustrations as well as quotations from real people and a sidebar with even more information. So those would be the text features. Let's continue reading on page 704. Now, the inspiration of Boundless Playgrounds was a playground created by Amy Jeff Barzak. It is named Jonathan's Dream in honor of her first son. Jonathan's Dream and many boundless playgrounds around the country have a glider swing that can be used by kids who use wheelchairs and their friends. The glider swing at Jonathan's Dream was designed by Matthew Cadavan, who wasn't even 10 years old at the time. Matthew was motivated because he uses a wheelchair himself and wanted to be able to have fun at playgrounds with other kids regardless of their physical disabilities. The elementary idea behind Boundless Playgrounds is that the play is both part of joy of childhood and an important way for children to learn about the world. Now, kids who are kept away from playgrounds are denied the enjoyment as well as learning. Far from being a place of happiness and excitement, traditional playgrounds are often a place of humiliation and isolation for those who can't join in the fun. Contrary to some rigid ideas about what a playground for children with special needs should be like, a boundless playground is every bit as colorful and challenging as a traditional playground. And that is why it is inviting and fun for all children. And for Hannah, Matthew, and other kids like them, a playground like this is also a dream come true. Okay, now before we move on to the questions, do you think that the author's opinion that a boundless playground is inviting and fun for all children is persuasive? Do you think that the author's opinion that a boundless playground is inviting and fun for all children, is it persuasive? Well, the author has supported this opinion with many facts, such as descriptions of equipment, as well as eyewitness accounts from children enjoying the playground. So most will probably agree that it is persuasive. Okay? Let's look at the questions on page 705. It says, what dream has come true for kids in this selection? What dream has come true for the kids in this selection? Well, boundless playgrounds can prevent feelings of humiliation and isolation that children with disabilities experience at other playgrounds where they are unable to use the equipment. The dream that has come true is that these children can now enjoy the same playground activities that the other children do. Number 2 says, how does Matt Cavadan persuade his audience that boundless playgrounds are worthwhile? Well, Matt Cavadan uses an example to try and persuade his audience that boundless playgrounds are worthwhile. He also asks questions that appeal to people's emotions about being accepted by others. Number 3 says, according to this article, what do kids miss out on when they can't play at a playground? What do kids miss out on when they can't play at a playground? Well, kids miss out on the joy and learning that comes from playing with other children. And number 4, why do you think the new gym was included in this section along with the other articles about health and fitness? Well, the new gym was included to show that able-bodied children have to focus on improvements in their health and fitness just as much as children with disabilities do. And with that being said, that's going to go ahead and conclude this link. Of course, if you have further questions or concerns, please do not hesitate to contact me, either phone call, email, office hours, or at the Learning Center.